I want to welcome you specially to this relationship masterclass today. My name is Sam Oye. It absolutely gladdens my heart to connect with you. And I am very confident of the fact that we are in for some great learnings today. And today, I want to talk to you about the 7 major signs of emotionally matured people. 7 major signs of emotionally matured people in relationship. So let me go straight into the heart of our conversation for today. I will be talking to you on, like I said, 7 major signs that shows you that an individual is emotionally matured. 7 major signs to show you that an individual is emotionally matured. The first Adam was emotionally immature. And that was why when Adam had a problem in the garden and God showed up, it was all about maturity. Adam will not own up to his responsibility. Adam will not accept his mistake. He pushed it over to somebody else and said, "It's the woman that you gave to me." And these are some of the ways by which, if you're in relationship with anybody, you can begin to say this person may be grown, but it's not matured. All right? So Adam passed the buck. He said, "No, listen, it's the woman." We came over to the woman, and the woman also said, "It's the serpent." So you can see that even though these individuals were created in the image of God, they lack what we call maturity, emotional maturity. Now, in the same vein, somebody can be spiritually matured but not emotionally matured. And that is why sometimes some of you are surprised when you see men of God who are used mightily by God, anointed by God, gifted in the spirit, great singers, great preachers. Sometimes when you see what we do as preachers, as ministers, as leaders, you are shocked. You're like, this anointed, yes, anointed. Here's the point. The anointing is a gift. It is not a reward for maturity. The anointing is not a reward for maturity. No. The anointing is what God gives. It is by the prerogative of God. It is the gift of God, and gift is not the same with character. So somebody can be highly gifted, highly anointed, and the person is emotionally immature. So the person goes away from preaching, and the person can control himself when he sees a woman, because emotionally he is not matured. So he can handle devils but can't handle women. You remember Samson? You remember that Samson was such an anointed man. He will carry gates. He will do great things. The Spirit of God will come upon him. But when Samson meets a woman, it's all over. It is just all over. And you know very well that mighty men could not round up the ministry of Samson, but a woman did. It is just to show you that a man can be super anointed but emotionally immatured. A man can be charismatically high but character-wise very low. And I know some of you are just beginning to see what exactly has been a major point of confusion. Why is it that such a person is so anointed and the person is doing such a thing? It is, listen, this is not that. This anointing is not equal character. And so we always encourage men and women of God who are going to go into ministry, people who are going to become leaders, including CEOs. You've seen CEOs who are leading multinationals, but when they behave, you're like, my God, he is such a genius when it comes to business decisions. But when it comes to handling emotional matters, he's such a wreck. And you've seen lots of leaders, governors. I mean, recently in America, you saw the situation whereby a man that I also acknowledge as an extraordinary leader. During COVID, Governor Cuomo was one of the most remarkable leaders. In fact, during the COVID era, His leadership prowess was more celebrated than that of the President of the United States. His constant briefing, his emotional intelligence, how he managed people's everything and all of that. But by the time we began to hear about his relationship with women, that ultimately brought that mighty man down. And so we saw a man resigning on the account of his lack of discretion towards women. I hope you're making some sense out of this today. So why don't you begin to invite your friends in the office, your boss, your colleague, your brother, because I really want to help some of us today. I really want to help us because I've been in a journey along this path myself, and so I think I can talk to some persons right now. Maturity in leadership, in relationship, critical things we need to give attention to. So never forget that I said this is not that. That somebody is doing very well in one area does not automatically transfer or imply that the person will do very well in the other area. So you find women who lead very well in the office but can't manage themselves at home. You find young girls who make very powerful decisions when it comes to business, at the workplace and all of that. But when it comes to making the right choice in terms of who to marry, they just get it wrong. So it's important that we get to understand how this whole thing works. Let's get straight to the heart of our conversation because we have so much to deal with today. The word immature is actually a Latin word, and it is immaturitas. Immaturitas. And it simply means unripe. An unripe fruit. An unripe mango. An unripe orange. An unripe lime. An unripe lemon. It just simply means this is not yet ready for consumption. I understand that some of this unripe fruit may be used for medicinal purposes, but when it comes to normal consumption, these same fruits that can add nutrients to your body, if consumed in an unripe state, they can actually harm you. So it's important to know that they have their use in an unripe state. But when it comes to consuming them as food, you can't consume that as food when it is in its unripe state. When a man is not yet matured, the person can have his use or her use somewhere else. But within the jurisdiction of marriage, when it comes to marriage, somebody who is not yet ripe character-wise, someone who is not yet emotionally matured, if that person is allowed to come into marriage, the person will certainly cause lots of trouble in the relationship. In essence, the person is better left in another arena where the person does very well, and allow the person over time, like an unripe fruit on the tree, to mature and ripen before such a person is plucked and connected to in relationship. It is critical to understand that the word immature means you are just unripe. Immaturitas. You are unripe. You are not yet ready. You are old but not ready. You have money but you are not ready. You are traveled but you are not ready. All right? So it's about emotional readiness. It's about maturity when it comes to emotions. It's about maturity when it comes to stability of character. These are the things that we look into yesterday. And today, I want to go into maturity. Of course, you should know by now that the word maturity in the Latin is the word maturitas. It's the word maturitas, and that word means to be ripe. To be ripe. Something that is ripe. A ripe pawpaw, a ripe orange, a ripe mango, a ripe fruit. It's ready now for consumption. It is dangerous to marry someone who is not ready for relationship. The person is not maturitas. The person is not matured yet. Yes, the person has the money. Yes, the person is old. Yes, the person is advanced in age. That in itself is not a criteria for marriage. Maturity is what stabilizes relationships. Certainly there is room for growth and development, but there is a basic need for maturity if you're going to have a stable relationship. Let's take it to the next level. Who is an immature person? An immature person is one who is not yet ripe for relationship or marriage. Not yet ripe. I'm excited that some of you are beginning to share the video. Please go ahead and do that. An immature person is one. Copy the link. Yes, you can copy the link and put it on your page. Send it on your WhatsApp and your status. Just get your friends on board right now. Somebody's going to be rescued because you share. Let's take it straight to the heart of it. Now, don't forget that I said an immature person is one who is not yet ripe. So a matured person is one who is ripe for relationship. We're not saying the person should be overripe. We're just saying the person is sufficiently ready for relationship to begin. The basics are there. The basic indicators that I'm about to show you are there to prove that this person is matured. Now, you can be old in age, advanced in age, and not be matured. And someone can be young in age and the person is matured. So it doesn't answer to age. Maturity does not answer to age. Emotional maturity is the ability to take responsibility for your actions. Emotional maturity is the ability to take responsibility for your actions and control your emotions. Those are the two things we check when we are looking for maturity in a person. Can you take responsibility for your actions? Can you control your emotions? Can you control your emotions? When a man carries his hands and slaps his wife, beats her, chokes her, and a man punches and kicks a woman and pushes her to the ground, and the man said he's matured. No, sir, you are not a matured man, because emotionally speaking, when it comes to emotional maturity, you have already failed when it comes to the indices of testing what emotional maturity is all about. Your ability to control your emotions. If you fail to control your emotions, you have failed to answer to what we call a matured man. In the same vein, you are not yet a matured woman if at every twist and turn you are always tearing things, breaking things, screaming. You are always shouting, causing problem in the house, breaking things. And then when you come to your senses, what have I done? What have I done? Now listen, you may be advanced in age, you are not yet emotionally matured. It is the truth you are dealing with right now. And so we have so many emotionally immature people who are wearing wedding bands. We have so many emotionally immature people who are wearing wedding rings. No control over emotions, inability to take responsibility for actions, always blame shifting or shifting blames. It is all a proof of emotional immaturity. What are the 7 major signs of a matured person? What are the 7 major signs? Now listen, I'm starting from the general, I'm going later to the specific. I'll be showing you the 7 major signs of a matured woman and the 7 major signs of a matured man. Don't you think you need to get someone in your office, your friend, your brother? Don't you think you need to get them on board now, because we're coming close to them? What are the 7 major signs of an emotionally matured person? Number 1, an emotionally matured person takes responsibility for his own actions and his own mistakes. An emotionally matured woman takes responsibility for her actions and for her own mistakes. I'm sorry I did it. No unnecessary explanation. I'm sorry I hurt you. I'm sorry I took that step. I'm sorry I did it. Now, don't forget what I said yesterday. I said to you, what you did is different from who you are. So saying sorry for what you did doesn't mean that in the eyes of the people, they see you as that. And the reason many of us don't know how to apologize or find it difficult to apologize is because you are afraid that if I say I am sorry for what I did, they will start looking at me as what I did. No. On the contrary, people respect you more when you can be bold and confident and courageous enough to say, I'm sorry I did this. I own up. Yes, I took a wrong turn. Yes, I'm having a relationship with a lady. I don't need anybody to catch me before I start owning up. No, I'm saying I did it. It's a proof of emotional maturity when you are capable of taking responsibility for your actions and your mistakes. It's critical that you understand that that is something we expect of an emotionally matured person. Let's take it to number 2. An emotionally matured person is one who is flexible, teachable, and open to continuous learning. That is why your presence on this broadcast today tells me that you are indeed someone who is committed to emotional maturity. An emotionally matured person is flexible, no rigidity, no cultural rigidity, no ideological rigidity, no religious rigidity. The person is flexible. On the issues of methods, the person is willing to waver. On the substance, the person needs conviction in order to waive his convictions. Now, it's important to understand that flexibility is a sign of maturity. Write that down. Flexibility is a sign of maturity. Teachability is also a sign of maturity. Learnability, the ability to learn, is a sign of maturity. Matured people are open to learn, constantly learning, constantly open to being taught, constantly flexible, making sure they let go of limiting beliefs so that they can embrace growth beliefs. So in marriage and relationship, when we come together, we learn from each other. Never marry someone who is not teachable. The worst thing that can happen to you is to be married to someone who is not open to learn, open to be taught, open to allow what we call diffusion of ideas. It is critical to know that marriage and relationship becomes beneficial, mutually beneficial, when we learn symbiotically or mutually from one another. That's what makes marriage and relationship to be what it ought to be. Number 3, signs of emotionally matured people. Number 3, emotionally matured individuals, they create space. They create space between their emotional feelings and their reactions. Please take note, the title is supposed to be emotionally matured people. They create space between their emotional feelings and reactions. I'm going to say that again. Emotionally matured people create space between their feelings and their reactions. This is very critical. Between how I feel and how I react, or when I react, there's space. That is the difference between emotionally mature people and those who are not matured. The ability to create space, timeline, or a little bit of time lapse between when I'm feeling like I should kill the person and when I decide on what to do. I allow time lapse. I allow some space in between. I don't do it because I feel it. I don't do it when I feel it. I allow time. I think through before I act. It is critical to know that it is a sign of maturity to delay your reactions. I'm going to say that again. It is a sign of maturity to delay your reaction. Number 4, emotionally matured people own, control, and redirect their negative emotional energies. Emotionally mature people, they own, they control, and they redirect their negative emotional energies. It is critical to note that your negative emotional energies must be owned, must be redirected, and must be controlled. You can't allow your negative emotional energy to run loose. No. You can't allow it to just spill out like that. You can't allow it to be like a dam that has just suddenly busted. The Bible says he that has no control over his own heart is like a city without walls. So one of the major signs of maturity is the ability to own your negative emotional energy. Yes, I'm feeling angry. I am angry. I'm upset. Own it. Number 2, control it. Number 3, redirect it. Please write that down. Own it, control it, and redirect it. I own that. Yeah, I'm feeling like I should shoot somebody right now. I'm feeling like I should stab somebody. Own that feeling. Own it. That's how you feel. All right? Okay. So what you now do is to control it. That I feel like shooting doesn't mean I should shoot. That I feel like stabbing doesn't mean I should stab. What am I going to do? Redirect that energy. Let me look for something else to do. Let me get out of the house. Let me just listen to music. Let me go and meet a friend. Let me just go play some games. Let me just go. Let me begin to design. Let me write a song. Let me dance. I mustn't do it because I feel it. Oh, Joy Davis, thank you so very much. I love the fact that you wrote it out for me. Own it, control it, redirect it. Isn't that amazing how Joy Davis put it for me? Own it and just redirect it and control it and redirect it. Joy Davis, thank you so very much for putting that together in context. I really appreciate the fact that you could do that for us. That means a lot to me. Thank you so very much. Let's take it to the 5th one. Emotionally matured people accept you without demanding that you give up who you are. Emotionally matured people, they accept you without demanding that you give up who you are. Very critical. Now, that's how to know you are connected to an emotionally matured person. The person accepts you unconditionally. If I love you, I accept you. And what that means is I give you the right to be yourself. I'm not going to say that I accept you and I'm asking you to grow taller. I accept you and I'm asking you to grow slimmer. I accept you and I'm asking you to grow bigger. Listen, if you accept me, just allow me be me. Emotionally matured people, when they accept you, they give you the right to be yourself. They don't demand that you give up who you are in order to fit who they want. No. Because the death of who they want happened on the day they found you. I'm going to say that again. Emotionally mature people kill who they want on the day they meet who they need. So meaning as soon as I meet you and I say you are the one I want to marry, on that day I kill the desire for whosoever again I will want. Because I cannot be holding on to who I want when I meet who I need. Otherwise, who I need will no longer satisfy me. So the death of who I want must happen when I meet who I need. It's important to understand that, otherwise adultery will be inevitable in marriage. So never forget this. Emotionally matured people accept you without demanding that you give up who you are to fit into who they want. No, they don't do that. Number 6, emotionally matured people relate more with you by listening to you rather than talking at you or talking you down. Emotionally matured people, they relate with you by listening to you. They listen to you rather than talk at you or talk you down. It's important to know that that's how you know you marry somebody who's matured. That's how you know you marry somebody who's matured. The person listens to you, doesn't talk at you, and doesn't talk you down. Number 7, emotionally matured people protect you from words and actions of critical and unreasonable people. Emotionally mature people protect you from people that are going to be critical, judgmental, and unreasonable in the use of their words. They protect you from family members. They protect you from friends. Anybody whose words will be injurious, critical, judgmental, and unreasonable to you, if that person is connected to an emotionally matured person, the emotionally matured person will shield you from such people, will not allow them to use such words on you. That's how you know that you're married to an emotionally matured person. They shield you away from those who will be injurious to you. Wow. I can see some of you already tagging and inviting your friends. Thank you so very much for doing that. I see Rose sending the message to Lily Monday, and somebody is sending a message to Precious. People are just sending messages to different people. That's the right thing to do. Invite your friends. You have to call them, because now I'm going to the specifics. Let me start by talking about the 7 signs of an emotionally matured woman. 7 signs of an emotionally matured woman. How do you know that a woman is matured? There are about 26 scientifically proven ways by which you can know that a woman is matured based on surveys. I'm just going to zoom in into 7. Is that okay? Number 1, she doesn't use aggression to get attention. An emotionally matured woman doesn't use aggression to get attention. That was how she did it when she was small. But she doesn't do that anymore in maturity, in adulthood. Because it worked when you were small. You used aggression and tantrums to get attention and even affection. When you become emotionally matured, you don't use aggression to get attention and affection. I'm going to say that again. When you become emotionally matured, you don't use aggression to get attention and affection. You don't do that. It's important that you take note of that. Number 2, an emotionally matured woman is not afraid to apologize and accept correction. An emotionally matured woman is not afraid to apologize and accept correction. You don't become disgruntled because you were corrected. And you don't try to throw tantrums and try to create all kinds of chaos in the atmosphere because you are wrong. You don't muddle up the waters just to say I'm sorry. An emotionally matured woman is not afraid to apologize and to say, look, I accept that I'm wrong. So accepting correction and apologizing is the hallmark of a matured woman. I like to see the fastest fingers to type that. The hallmark of a matured woman is the ability, is proven by her ability to quickly apologize and accept correction. I am impressed with the way some of you are writing. Some of you are almost writing faster than I speak. Wow. Amazing. Okay. So let's keep going. And I hope you keep reaching out to your friends. All of you on YouTube, I hope you can go ahead and share the video right now. Listen carefully. The hallmark of a matured, emotionally matured woman is proven by her ability to say, listen, you know what? I apologize. And by the way, quickly. Number two, and I accept correction without creating frustration in the atmosphere. That you are corrected doesn't mean you are wrong. You did something wrong. Learn to understand the difference between I did something wrong and I'm corrected for what I did versus I am wrong. Learn to separate between your person and your actions. Otherwise, you are not going to accept correction in good faith and with maturity. Number three, an emotionally matured woman knows who she is and what she is worth. An emotionally matured woman knows who she is and she knows who she is worth. She is not intimidated by the difference or the uniqueness of another woman. An emotionally matured woman tells herself, I am beautiful. And I may meet other beautiful and other attractive women on the earth. Yes, and I recognize that. A woman who has not celebrated herself will be intimidated by somebody else. Can I say that again? A woman who has not mastered celebrating herself will be intimidated at the sight of another woman. So as a woman, you should learn to recognize who you are and what you are worth. You may not be Miss World to the entire world, but trust me, you are somebody worth celebrating. You are somebody of great value. You may not look like they look in Cosmopolitan magazine. You may not look like the women on the billboard, but trust me, you are a woman of worth. Appearing on the billboard does not define who a woman is. Being celebrated as a model doesn't mean that a model is a role model. It's important as a woman to learn to celebrate who you are and not allow what you see in the papers begin to dictate how you conduct yourself. Now they tell you that size this is the kind of best, look for a woman. And you start pursuing that. Tomorrow, it's this. And you start pursuing that. Hey, learn to be comfortable in who you are. Learn to be comfortable in your own skin. You are a woman of worth. You are a woman of worth. Know who you are and know what you are worth. Never be intimidated by the difference and the uniqueness of another woman. The reason is very simple. You are all so different and you are unique in your own ranking. Number 4, an emotionally matured woman thinks through before she talks or acts. An emotionally matured woman, she thinks through before she talks and before she acts. That's one thing you used to know an emotionally matured woman. That's how you know her. She thinks before she talks. She thinks before she acts. She measures consequences, impact, effect, aftermath. She thinks through that before she makes utterances. She thinks through that before she reacts, before she breaks anything, before she destroys anything. Another major sign of an emotionally matured woman is that she delays instant gratification and reaction. She delays instant gratification. Oh, I just went out now and I saw this thing and I saw that. I was looking at television and I saw this and I just feel like I should buy it. Now, listen, if you can't afford it now, you just simply put it as part of your collection, things to have. Emotionally matured women prioritize their lives. Emotionally matured women don't spend the money they need to invest now on frivolities of life. Emotionally matured women know the difference between asset and liabilities. They understand that if their phone can still make calls, if they can still send emails with their phones, if they can still receive text messages and make WhatsApp calls and watch video on their phone, they recognize the fact that my phone doesn't have to be an iPhone 12 for me to be a woman of worth. You don't have to use an iPhone Pro. When you can't afford it, why stress yourself to get it? What is wrong with your phone? Does iPhone Pro confer a status on you? Will people open doors for you because you use an iPhone Pro? Will monies be transferred into your account because you are using an iPhone Pro? By the way, what did you buy that for? What do you need it for? What was wrong with your previous phone? What is this thing about trying to impress people who are not impressed by you? Who are you stressing yourself for? When others are busy using their money to get assets, you are using your money to get liabilities. You are more focused on pleasure when others are using their money to get treasures. And treasures will give them pleasure, but pleasure will never give you treasure. What kind of decisions are you making? I must get it now. I must buy it now. I must look like that now. Are you in position for that now? Why stress your partner just because you want instant gratification? Why don't you delay that? Why don't you pay now so that you can play later? Pay now so that you can play later. I remember in the early days of our marriage and all of that with my wife, I mean, there are so many things. There were so many things we had to just turn our eyes away from. And, you know, we were focused more on building wealth and just making sure we focus on wealth creation and all of that. And we said to ourselves, look, there are so many things. People were like, hey, have you gotten this now? Have you gotten that now? And, you know, some of the things, some of the phones, flip phone, those of you that are in Nigeria, no Siemens phone, flip phones, Motorola phones, and, you know, all those things that look like status things then. Where are they today? iPhone 1, when it came out, it was like if you don't have it, you won't go to heaven. Where's iPhone 1 now? Those who broke banks to buy that, what did that add to you? Asset is anything that eventually brings to you. Liabilities are anything that takes away from you. Are you asset-minded or liability-minded? I'm trying to figure out, why do you need to buy a wig of 500,000 naira, $1,000, when you don't even have a master's degree? Do you know that that is the money for master's degree? And if you have your master's, you can buy wigs. Why don't you reorder your priority? Why don't you just reorder your priority? Must you wear a Gucci shoe now? And you break the bank to buy Gucci shoes and now you are broke? Or you bought them on, you know, credit or, you know, whatever they call it, and you're paying gradually. Now you're financially imbalanced. By the time you're done paying for the shoe, the value of it has been completely messed up. What financial sense drives you? Emotionally matured women don't buy emotionally. Write that down. Emotionally matured women don't buy emotionally. They don't just walk on the street and somebody flings something at them and they pick it up. No. If it is not written for buy, we don't buy. There's enough discipline for that. I love Adevi. Adevi said, are you asset-minded or liability-minded? Very, very good question. This is, yes, somebody else put it this way. Diamond said, it is misplaced priority. Trust me, it is misplaced priority. And let me talk to the women now. Women, I hope you know that women are beginning to go away from pleasure. Wise women are pursuing treasures now. Women are going for their second masters. Women are going for, they will vanish from the scene. Whilst you are busy joining the gang of women who are calling themselves big women in town today. Women who are just going around, taking pictures, selfie, going on boat cruise around the community, storming Instagram with pictures of themselves on boat cruise. No degrees, no masters, no nothing. They are not adding value to themselves. They are not getting improvement. They are not learning skills. They are not improving in terms of up-to-date knowledge when it comes to what they are doing. They are not doing all of that. All they are just doing now is fun and you know, wearing the latest trousers and the latest top, you know, and their lives is just about dress and parties and drinkings and eating and wears and foundations and eyelashes and all of that. Hey, now, and there are other women who take off the wigs and barb low cut, who don't use any of the makeups because it's even a waste of time. They are burying themselves in research. You may not even see them with Facebook pages. They don't even have Instagram pages. You know why? They are burying themselves in the pages. They are reading books, so you don't find them on Instagram pages. You don't find them on all the pages you're on. But they are burying themselves, learning new skills. These are the women who in the next 3, 4, 5 years will be captains of industries, controlling millions. And now by their 40s and 50s, they can afford to go anywhere in the world because they sent their roots down. Now they can send their branches up. Whereas some other unwise women, emotionally immature, were busy sending branches up with no roots down. It's time for you to get rid of the culture of instant gratification. Get rid of that culture. Oh, my. You better get your friends on board right now. You invite somebody. I tell you, it's going to get really interesting here today. Number 6. Emotionally matured women are treasure driven. They are not pleasure seekers. Write that down. Emotionally matured women are treasure driven. They are not pleasure seekers. I mentioned that before. They are treasure driven. They are more for substance. It's not about style. It's not about impression. No, it's about substance. They are securing the future now. They are paying the price today so that they can rest tomorrow. They are already planning their retirement in their early ages so that they can go around the world from 50 with the dividends of their investments sponsoring their pleasure. Unfortunately, those who spent their early years in pleasure will spend their later years pursuing treasures. So they are emotionally matured women. They are treasure driven and not pleasure seekers. That's why the Bible says, she that liveth in pleasure, she is dead while she's still alive. Why did the Bible tie that to a woman? She that liveth in pleasure, she is dead while she's still alive. It's all about the nails. It's all about the clothes. It's all about this and that. And you don't have anything, no foundation. You know, I normally ask some of our women, let me ask you also a question. Madam, if your husband is no more in your life, can you sponsor the pleasure you're having today? Can you continue to enjoy the pleasures you are having today? What are you doing to secure the future? What are you doing? What skills do you have? What can you fall back to? If the men in your life are out, tomorrow we're praying for the men. And we're praying for you too. If the men in your life are not in your life, can you still sponsor the current lifestyle you're enjoying? As food for thought, you know. Emotionally matured women recognizes, respect, and honor the men in their lives. Emotionally matured women recognizes, respect, and honor the men in their lives. That is the proof of an emotionally matured woman. She honors and respects the man in her life. She honors, she recognizes and respects the man in her life. She does not say, because I earn more than he earns, I will look down on him. She does not say, listen, and that does not mean that the man is not a working class person. It's just that you earn more than he earns for whatever reason, and you never look down on him. You still recognize him as your king, as your leader, as the man God has set in the house. You don't treat your man like a trash. You don't look down on him because you earn more than he earns. I do not condone laziness in any man. I'm sure you know that by now. But in some situations, you will have a case where the woman is out earning the man. And it is a test of your humility. When God begins to bless you more than your husband, God is checking your heart. Will you be humble to recognize yourself as a wife? Yes, a CEO in the office, but can you learn to be a wife at home? On your way home, drop the cap of a CEO in the office and wear the cap of a wife who can learn like Sarah to call her own Abraham, my Lord. It is a test of your humility. Somebody's asking if the wigs cost as much as $1,000. You don't have an idea what people will pay for. All right. I missed out. Now let me get to the men. Let me zoom back to the men. Quickly, I want to touch the men, because if I don't touch the men, the women are going to come at me. 7 signs of an emotionally matured man, and I will run through this in 7 minutes. Number 1, an emotionally matured man is accountable, sensible, and responsible. An emotionally matured man is accountable. Hello, sir. You don't run. If you are married to a woman, sir, she needs to know what you are doing. You are not in a cult. Your wife deserves the right to know what is happening. We had a case where a man died, and it was then his family got to know that he had accounts in places he did not tell them. And unfortunately, nobody else was a signatory to the account. That created trouble. So it's important that as a man, you are accountable, you are sensible, and you are responsible. Number 2, don't let anybody tell you that as a man, you should not express your feelings. No. On the contrary, emotionally matured men, they don't suppress or repress their feelings. They express it, and they express it wisely. Express how you feel. You're not happy. We don't say you should not express it, but express it in a controlled way. Meaning there should be gap between your feeling and the moment where you express it. So there can be some intelligence tied to the expression of your feelings. Number 3, an emotionally matured man speaks, listens, and negotiates. You speak, you listen, and you negotiate with your partner. That makes you an emotionally matured man. Number 4, an emotionally matured man is committed to learning, growing, and developing. Hello, sir. Women are not marking term. They are moving. As a man, keep on learning, keep on growing, keep on improving, keep on developing. Women lose respect too much in a hurry when they notice that the man in their lives is no longer an inspiration but a burden. Hello, sir. Keep on stretching. Keep on learning. Keep on improving yourself. It inspires the woman in your life. When you stop learning, it almost begins to make you to start dying and you start losing respect. So keep on improving. An emotionally matured man honors and upholds the integrity of his promise and his vows. An emotionally matured man, he honors and he upholds the integrity of his vows and his promise to his woman. You honor your vow. If you promise her you will never cheat, I don't get to know if 1,000 women come after you, you will uphold and you will sustain that promise. It is what we do as men. It is our responsibility as men. We keep to that. Number 6, an emotionally matured man is focused, decisive, and purpose-driven. You are focused, maximum concentration on your key priorities. You are a man that is decisive. You are not dilly-dallying all the time, wishy-washy. When you're supposed to take an action, you are there still just trying to figure out here and there. No, you are decisive. You are very decisive and you are purpose-driven. You have a purpose that drives your life. A God-given purpose. Lastly, an emotionally matured man never compares his wife with another woman and expect her to match up with that woman. No, you can inspire your wife, you never compare your wife. Inspire, but never compare. I'm out of time, but I'm not out of words. We will continue this class next week. Oh my, so quick. Time has gone. You need to make sure you share this video with as many friends as you can. Let them watch and prepare to join us bright and early next week. I love you so very much. Don't forget that I will look forward to catching up with you bright and early tomorrow morning, 5:50 a.m. West African time, past midnight, 12:50 a.m. Eastern Standard Time in the United States, 11:50 if you are in the Houston area and the rest of that. Canada, we can't wait to catch up with you bright and early. Australia, 4 in the evening, 4:50 I think, or 3:50 is your time. Make sure you catch up with us. Germany, we can't wait to have you also join us. South Africa, everybody, wherever you're watching from, this is Sam Oye saying, keep on keeping on. So interesting. I'm seeing all your feedback. How was today for you? I need to hear your feedback. I want everybody to send me your feedback. Let me know how it was for you. I'm hearing, yes, Jaja said, God bless you. Jaja, I missed you quite a while. Yes, thank you so very much. Helen, thank you so very much. You're saying thank you, Pastor Sam. Faith, you are watching. Okay, you are in Montreal, in Canada, Montreal. That's 1 a.m. Thank you so very much. Lulu, thank you. Good to see you. I know you are in the islands. Thank you so very much. Whoa, I'm seeing all your comments. Let me hear from you what you think about the broadcast. Just go ahead. And if it truly blessed you, the only thing I'm asking you, I didn't ask you to pay anything. The only thing I'm asking you to do is copy the link and send it to a friend. Let them watch it and tell them to join us next week, Monday and Tuesday. Love you. Bye-bye.